Welcome live, everybody, to the Jim Master Show, live entertainment, lifestyle, celebrity talk show series. So wonderful to have you here. And also so wonderful to have beloved, celebrated, award-winning, and iconic actress, producer, director, humanitarian, the one and only Linda Gray is joining us from her home in California for a very special, exclusive conversation, not only about her epic career, her memoir, but also a fabulous new holiday movie that's coming out with some of her diva friends. Yes, here is the movie. Everybody can't wait to see it. It is Ladies of the 80s, A Diva's Christmas. This is coming out on Lifetime, and take a look at all of the talent on that screen. Some of your favorites, of course, Linda and Morgan Fairchild. Yes, Donna Mills, Nicolette Sheridan, Lonnie Anderson. They're all together in Ladies of the 80s, A Diva's Christmas, which is going to be spectacular. Again, look for it on Lifetime. I'm going to tell you more about that in just a second, but it is really an extraordinary opportunity to have an opportunity to chat with Linda Gray, who is a favorite of mine, and I'm sure of yours as well. We know her for so many years, starring on this iconic series and beloved series, Dallas. And that is something that, again, is near and dear to so many people's hearts. And so many people still talk about Dallas, fondly remember the iconic cast of this beloved series. And of course, she played Sue Ellen Ewing. And there is the iconic Larry Hagman, who, again, she had a wonderful rapport with, along with all the other cast on this incredible series. And again, Linda played such a strong and iconic role on that series. But in addition to Dallas, we'll talk about Dallas, of course. She's done so much other extraordinary work. We're going to talk about that. She even had an opportunity to direct an episode as well. We'll talk about that. Yep. And of course, there have been some other versions as well that have come through, movies. And if you are a big Dallas fan, then you know that there are some others, like right there on your screen, that have popped on. And there she is with Larry Hagman. And again, she is one of those beloved actresses that we have had an opportunity to enjoy the work of for so long. But did you know she was also in Palm Springs Weekend? Yes, and Big Hawaii. And she's been on other episodes of some of your favorite television series as well, not just iconic movies, but some of your favorite television series. And when we were doing research, we just pulled up a few because there's so many. Emergency Marcus, Welby, MD. There's another fantastic one. She was on Switch. Yes, McCloud. Again, all of these incredible. And you know whose leg that is in The Graduate? Who do you think it is? It's not Anne Bancroft. That is Linda Gray's leg. And some people didn't know that. We'll talk about that as well. Again, she's a beloved actress. She was also in this iconic series as well. This is All That Glitters. And look at the cast of iconic talent that was in that series as well. There's another beautiful shot of her. And also iconic movies and specials and movies of the week. So many classic. And this is more recent, folks. This on Netflix. Yeah. I don't know if you caught this, but it's another incredible production. And here's another. Yeah. Even the soap opera Bold and the Beautiful. She is very busy. And she is truly a treasure because she has been on so many iconic productions, shows, movies, stage. Again, even Beverly Hills 90210, you name it. Again, we were just doing a little digging here, and we were like, even I was stunned remembering some of these. Melrose Place and Models Inc. Yep, she was on episodes of all of these incredible shows, Oscar as well, and Eve of Destruction. This is really like going down memory lane here. And Rip Off, yeah, The Entertainers, Linda Gray, in all of these iconic, and of course, The Gambler, Kenny Rogers, and there you go. This was very funny with Carol Burnett and Charlotte Grodin. The grass is always greener over the septic tank. If you did not see that, you should check it out. It's hilarious. And even this, and I'm telling you, lots of fabulous performances, an episode of The Beloved Touched by an Angel, and also Wally's Will. This was a beautiful, beautiful performance. Yes, this is more recent, of course. Again, we're just showing you some of When the Cradle Falls. This is just some of the iconic performances. But in addition to, of course, as I mentioned, everybody knows her as Sue Ellen Ewing from Dallas, a phenomenal model and performer, and also a wonderful humanitarian. These are just some wonderful shots that we dug up just to show you some beautiful commercials and advertising campaigns and so much more. Again, in addition to being a brilliant actress, director, producer, a wonderful model over the years as well. Look at these iconic, beautiful, beautiful photos. And yeah. And of course, there she is with the beloved Larry Hagman. Over the years, they spent so much time together on set and off. She is truly an American television, film, stage, entertainment legend and icon. But you know what is really special about Linda Gray? She's a beautiful person inside and out. She is an extraordinary humanitarian. She gives back. She believes in charitable work. She's helped Meals for Wheels. She was an ambassador for the United Nations as well, and even for the city of Dallas, Texas, which is extraordinary as well. She loves giving back. She loves helping. She loves supporting causes that she believes in. And we are so truly honored to have her here on the show. That's just the short list of this icon's beloved career. So let's welcome her to the Jim Masters Show Live, exclusively live. This is a real treat, folks. And I know a lot of you are commenting in our chat room. We welcome that as well. Linda Gray on the Jim Masters Show. How are you? It's never a gray day when Linda is here.
Hello, Jim. My gosh, just watching the visuals of what you had presented, I was stunned. I thought, I worked a lot.
It's amazing when you see it back, right? And you're like, that's
Yeah.
true. Oh, I forgot about that. Oh, that's right. I was on an episode of that, or I was in that as well, which is, it's amazing when you get a chance to look back, and it refreshes the memory of a lot of our viewers as well. Welcome. I know it's a very busy time for you. There's Lifetime movies coming out, and you have a lot of wonderful things going on. So we truly thank you for taking time to stop by our show. It's a real blessing and delight to have you here, Linda.
It's my pleasure, honestly, Jim. Thank you for inviting me.
You are very, very welcome. You're part of the Lovity family, as we said. We were talking off air about Lovity.
I love that.
Isn't that incredible?
Absolutely. Love it.
You know, I love to go back in time just a little bit, and I would love to know early on for you, Linda, what are some of those inspirational moments in your life early on, maybe even as a kid, that sort of pointed you in the direction of wanting to do this work, going into entertainment, going into the arts and performance? Was there folks in your family that were in that world too, or how did it all start for you?
No one was in this world. But I knew this is my world. This is what I wanted to do. So there wasn't really a lot of the cheering section was not there. So
Right.
and I was raised by in a very strict Catholic family, and so for them it was like, oh no, you become a nurse or a doctor or a teacher or secretary or something like that, but no, not an actor. It's kind of beneath. It was beneath what they had planned. So I thought, ooh, how am I going to do this? How am I going to follow my dream? And back then, it was very narrow. It was a very narrow bandwidth of what we could do and couldn't do. So, I just hung in and I started doing commercials. And then I didn't know it at the time, but it wasn't calculated. But I thought, well, this is a fun thing to do. But then as the commercials showed more and more, because at that time, actors did not do commercials. It was beneath them to do a commercial. So I kind of snuck in there, slid in there, because I had this kind of an all-American face and all that. So I started doing commercials. Friends of my parents said, I saw your daughter on the whatever commercial. And they were like, well, yes, wasn't she wonderful? And on and on. So they started becoming celebrities in our little town in California. Very funny. So I thought, well, that's kind of a good way to get in the side door here.
Right.
But my dream was to become an actor, and I thought, I'm not giving up. And so I just kind of tiptoed, became very patient, and got married and had 2 children. And but the dream was still there, and the dream was very loud. The dream was getting louder and louder. And I thought, okay, this is my passion.
Yes.
I have to do it. And if I fail, but I have to do it. And that's what I love to tell the young ones. Follow your passion and do it with all the love and zest and gusto you can. And if you find in the end that you don't like it, or it isn't all that it's cracked up to be, then go on to, dream number 2, keep going, don't give up. So anyway, that was my philosophy. And my husband was kind of like my parents. It was kind of like, well, why don't you become an actor when the children are in college? And there was this pause there. I was like, what? So that didn't work very well. I was like, what? Anyway, so what happened is I enrolled in acting class. My husband was not happy. But I thought, okay, this is my dream, and I have to do it. End of story. And I enrolled. Everybody else was much younger than me, and nobody had children. So I went with this group of young people, and some of them Carl Weathers, Susie Blakely, Veronica Hamill, and they were in my class. And I just was trotting in there and had to go back and relieve the babysitter.
Right.
Anyway, it was kind of I did everything kind of upside down and backwards, but it didn't matter because I was happy.
Yeah, that's the key. Right. So what came first? Was it the acting that came first? The modeling came first? Because you did an extraordinarily, amount of modeling over the years as well.
I did. The modeling came first. And I just because I was able to just continue going to school, and I could model at the same time. And then when I started doing commercials, that was great. And then I got married and continued doing commercials. Had 2 babies, and I remember sitting on a stool, very pregnant. And they shot me from here up doing Alberto VO5 hair commercial.
Oh, yeah.
So all they did was just washing my hair. And I sat on a stool with a towel and a big tummy, a beautiful big tummy. And I was very happy.
That's fabulous. Again, what they're able to do, like you say, and when they have to sort of work around things and look at these. I mean, that's beautiful shot. What was that for, Linda?
I don't know what it was for. I remember my husband shot that photograph. He was a photographer, art director, and he did beautiful, beautiful work. So
yeah,
that's what it was.
Really. And there you go. There's one of the commercials, right? One of the print ads as well.
That was for Norman Lear, the skiing looking one. That was because I played the Wilhelmina girl on All the Glitters. And
that's right.
So there's a lot of photographs just like that.
Look at this shot.
That's very young. I look very young there. But anyway.
It's fantastic. Yeah. These are all absolutely beautiful shots.
Thank you.
Over the years. Yeah. Stunning. And then, of course, Larry Hagman, the iconic Larry Hagman as well. And we'll talk about in just a minute. So, yeah, all that glitters. I know we were talking about that. Everybody thinks, of course, of Dallas first, but All That Glitters was another wonderful series. How did that opportunity come your way for you as well, Linda?
All That Glitters, it was a Norman Lear production.
Yeah.
And of course, everyone knew Norman Lear. And I was, of course, modeling at the time, and my agent said to me, I would like you to go see Norman Lear. There's a TV series that he's working on. I knew no one. I never met Norman. And I went in and interviewed, like every other actor that does anything in this town. And I got the role. And I was so happy because the people, the actors were wonderful. And the opportunity to work with Mr. Lear was extraordinary. And it was just such a thrill because he was a trailblazer, and all the glitters, and his mind was absolutely extraordinary. And you would just sit and listen to him, and he was years ahead of normal people. And it was a thrill to really be in his presence and to work with him.
Oh, yeah. And can you imagine he just had another birthday, 101. God bless him, huh?
Yep, God bless, you got it. Yep.
Yeah, that's extraordinary. The amount of television and entertainment and getting us think with those iconic series and shows that he's presented to us is absolutely iconic and is extraordinary. So all that glitters, which of course was so well received. And then Dallas. How did this come about for you? And did you have any idea? Did anybody on set have any idea what this would turn out to be?
Not a clue. One of the casting directors on All That Glitters, her name is Ruth Comforte. Never forget that woman. She's been a treasure in my life. She called All That Glitters, and she said she was invited to cast the minor people in the show, in a show called Dallas. And she was invited to cast the small roles. Anyway, she called them and said, "Do you know Linda Gray?" Well, of course, nobody knew me. So no, we don't know who she is. And she said, "Well, would you please see her?" And they said, "Well, actually, we're thinking about Mary Fran for the role." Now, Mary Fran ended up being Bob Newhart's wife.
Newhart, yeah.
And she was a friend of mine, a dear friend of mine. So I thought, oh, dear, well, if Mary's got it, there's no need for me to go in. Anyway, so Ruth kept pounding away at them, saying, "Please, please, please see Linda. You don't know her, but you will," Bob. And on. She was huge support. Anyway, so they said, okay. I think she beat them down. Said, "Okay, we'll see her at 5:00 on Friday p.m. Now, we all know in Hollywood or any place to see anyone at 5:00 on Friday night is not the best time to do an interview.
Right.
Let's put it that way. So anyway, I went in knowing that it wasn't the best. Everybody wanted to go home and, enjoy their weekend. So I went in. There was no script, but they had written sort of a little temporary thing for me to read, an audition script. And the script was, I'll never forget it, it was a phone call Sue Ellen was receiving from JR saying, "I won't be home for John Ross's birthday party because I'd have to work late at the office." We know what he was doing. My audition scene was the Sue Ellen's version of her side of the conversation. And I didn't know anything about who JR was, what he was doing, but it was kind of obvious that he was not going to be at the party for other reasons. So anyway, I went home and that was it. I kind of forgot about it. And because it was Friday night at 5:00. But in my heart, I had this female intuition and said, "You got that role." And I thought, no, Mary Fran has that role. No, but it kept talking to me, the intuition. And I thought, oh, all right, well, okay. So it was going to shoot in Burbank. And I thought, well, that's perfect. I lived on a ranch with my husband and two children. And I thought, that's great because it's not a far commute. Maybe we commute together. Wonderful, perfect. And then what happened is they said, oh, by the way, it's going to shoot in Dallas, Texas. thud. I was like, oh, no, no, I have to be here with my family. No,
Yeah.
we can't be. Anyway, we went to Texas, and we were only hired for 5 episodes. And we all went to Dallas. None of us, except Mr. Hagman, had been to Texas. None of us. He was the Pied Piper. He showed us around Texas in his wonderful converted red truck. And we all sat on the floor in a motel where we were staying. A motel, not very attractive. And Mr. Hagman filled his bathtub with ice and several bottles of champagne. And that's how we bonded. All of us sitting on the floor, introducing ourselves to the cast and talking about the series called Dallas. And that was the magical, beautiful, extraordinary bonding that we all had. And I think those moments were the ones that glued together all the yumminess that came from that series.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, the casting was spot on. Of course, Patrick Duffy, too, who was another person that I know you've always admired working with, and just everybody on that cast. And when you saw and you got that role of Sue Ellen Ewing, and you started reading the scripts and you started seeing what her personality was going to be like, what were some of the things you were thinking about as far as Sue Ellen and what her role would be on the series? She was extraordinary, as are you.
Oh, bless you, Jim. Thanks. No, Sue Ellen didn't have anything to do in the beginning 2 or 3 episodes. She didn't have a name in this first show.
Right.
She was referred to by the crew as the brunette on the couch. That was exciting.
The brunette on the couch.
And it was like, oh, that's exciting. And her lines, the very famous lines she had to say were, "More coffee, JR." That was exciting. And so that kind of continued. And I thought, well, this is boring. But I'll tell you, Jim, the most fun I had, because I didn't work a lot in the first couple of episodes, I went across the freeway to a place called Neiman Marcus. And I thought, I don't know anything about Texas women. I've heard about them, but I've never met really a pure Texas woman. And so I went over to Neiman Marcus. I sat in the hair salon, and I got my hair done, and I listened, and I absorbed, and I watched, and I thought, this is perfect. If I'm to play a very rich Texas woman, I need to be around them. Watch what they buy, watch what they eat, let them, talk to me about, not that I was going to interview them. I just needed to absorb who they were. Everything was being fed to me. And that's how Sue Ellen Ewing was created.
So you actually did some hands-on research and watched and observed and sort of absorbed what you saw and brought it into the character. Yeah. Was that an expensive day at Neiman Marcus for you? Or?
Oh, yes, because it wasn't just one day. Then the next day I get my manicure. And it was so much fun, though. And then I have a funny story that not many people know. I'll tell you. And your wonderful viewers. I was in the ladies' room. There was a big event in Texas, and I was in the ladies' room at the Mansion Hotel. I love the Mansion. Anyway, I was in the ladies' room putting on lipstick, and I happened to look down at a woman who had her purse open in the ladies' room, and I looked down, a little tiny purse, speak a little bit, and I saw a gun and a lipstick. Now, I'd not ever seen that in California. And I thought, well, that's interesting. So naively, I looked at her and I said, "Excuse me, is that a gun?" I mean, didn't sound very intelligent. And I said, she looked at me and she looked right up at me and said, of course, this is Texas.
Mm.
And I thought, oh dear, okay, I'm in Texas. And it was, I ran to the producers the next day and I said, I've got to tell you this great story. It's wonderful and it's so interesting and it's Texas. And you have to put it in there for Sue Ellen. And they didn't. But it stayed with me in my heart, obviously, for 45 years or something. And it was so delicious because I thought, you just told me a lot about what women do here. And they have to protect themselves. And they have to put lipstick on. They have to look great. And just in case, they have to have a gun.
That's it, I tell you. When that series launched and just was growing and growing in popularity, and people just, it was appointment viewing. It was kind of like when I Love Lucy, Lucille Ball had the baby. When Dallas was on, everybody cleared their calendar and they were watching Dallas on CBS. What was that like? The fanfare, the fervor, the love that was showered upon all of you as you were acting and presenting Dallas for all of us?
Well, it was the pure fact is that we were working so hard that any of that stuff, the accolades from afar or, any of those, like, oh, the ratings were great. We were so busy working, trying to do our best to entertain you and people around the world that it was just like a constant thing. We were just working. So we really didn't think about it. We were just like, okay, next episode, let's do it. Let's go. So it wasn't like we sat home and went, wow, aren't we great? No, that never happened. We didn't have time to do that.
What was it like on set? I mean, you were there, you're actually filming in Dallas and, all the different variables of being there in that area. What was a day like on set? Or was every day just completely different?
Well, we worked 2 months out of the year, the hottest months, I might say. They were in Dallas because CBS wanted to see the wholeness and the ambiance and have a feeling of being in Texas. And it was very hot, very, very hot. And, I remember a funny story. Barbara Bel Geddes and I had a scene in the driveway at South Fork, in the driveway. And our producer director was directing this episode. And we got out of the car and he said, action. Well, the tarmac was so hot that our high heels sunk into the asphalt. They just sunk in.
Oh, wow.
We could not move.
Yeah.
We couldn't move. And he said again, action. And we couldn't move. We couldn't move. And we were trying. We were giving it our best thing, like, ooh. And we couldn't move. And we finally said, Lenny, we can't move. Our high heels are stuck in the driveway. And I was like, oh my God, that is hot. So, I mean, these are things that people don't know that happen. They just see us get out of the car and walk away. But that took a long time to get our shoes out of the tarmac. So yeah, it was really hot. 2 months out of the year. People think we were there the entire year. No, we were 2 months there and 10.5 months in Los Angeles.
What was it like working with the wonderful Larry Hagman as well, who I believe, of course, he was Major Anthony Nelson in All You Dream of Jeannie and all these other phenomenal things he did, but he was really born to be JR, wasn't he?
Oh, absolutely. I had a crush on him as Major Nelson. And I thought, when we all met in a room in Burbank, all together, for the first time, seeing everybody, I looked at everybody and I thought, oh dear, here's my quiet crush, Major Nelson, in the room. And then Patrick Duffy I had met when he was doing Man from Atlantis. And then I thought, and then Barbara Bel Geddes was there, whom I adored from, a hierarchy place. She was gorgeous and wonderful and so talented. And I thought, what kind of show is this?
Right.
We have Major Nelson, the Man from Atlantis, Barbara Bel Geddes, and I thought, I haven't a clue. Is this a comedy? Is this a drama? Who are these people? I was like, what is this? And then Larry came in with saddlebags over his shoulder.
Yeah.
The back and the front. They were all carved leather, so beautiful. And each side of the saddlebags was filled with ice and a bottle of champagne. So 2 bottles of champagne. And he walked in and he looks at me and he said, "Hello, darling." And I thought, well, who is it? I don't know what I'm doing here. This is totally out of my league. I have no clue. And we did. And then from then on, it was the most fun, the most delicious time, the most wonderful people. It was just like meant to be, that we all met each other, we all worked together, and we all loved each other.
And you maintained a friendship over the years with Larry too, even with that fabulous reboot that happened in 2012.
That was a surprise for us because there had been a 20-year pause, and we all got the call. Larry got the call, Patrick and myself, and the 3 of us were invited to come back and do it again. And we called each other. And I think we all met for lunch. We said, is this the most fun? We get to play together and work together again 20 years later. Now, I don't know of another actor or a group of people that get to do that. My hair's falling in my face. I don't know what happened. Anyway, there's no hairdresser here.
Yeah.
So, we got that call. We were so excited that we actually got to work together again. And, it was just history again, just making magic with your best friends.
Yes, and what a great cast too with this particular reboot, huh? You brought in some extra folks that were absolutely amazing, and this was doing quite well. People were very excited about this reboot.
Oh, we were excited too, and we loved the kids, our children, our kids.
Yeah, right, exactly.
We loved them, and we became very close. And they're all so talented. Oh God.
Yeah.
So we were so disappointed when they pulled the plug on that. We know. I mean, we're not. Anyway, we knew Larry was not well, and then when he passed. We knew they probably would cancel it, but our ratings were great.
They were
The
great.
stories were great. We had a wonderful woman producer, Cynthia Cedre, and she was fabulous. And Mike Robin, they were wonderful, and they were current, and they knew everything. They just took it in a whole new direction, and we loved them, and we loved working with them. And then. TNT had a change of command, and that's what happens in our business sometimes. People want to make their mark, and they want to get rid of everything somebody else before them did. So
you did something so beautiful and so special, Linda, and that is when there was the realization that Larry Hagman was ill. You actually went and searched out a nutritionist to try to help him with his diet to keep him healthy and strong, not only for being on the series, to continue the series, but just because he was a friend. That was a beautiful thing to do, Linda.
Thank you. Thank you. Because, he was known to be, kind of not paying attention to his health. And, so I met this wonderful, wonderful woman. It's a funny story. I met her, and her name is Nancy Addison. She lives in Texas, And I had heard about her from someone here in Los Angeles. And I said, I'm looking for a nutritionist, somebody who can cook for Larry and keep him on the path, because we want him to be strong and healthy to continue the series. And so she said, okay, here. She gave me Nancy's number. I had lunch with her, and I said, okay, this is a very odd request, but I would like you to help me help Mr. Hagman stay healthy. And so can you do that? So she said she would love to, but on and on. Anyway, I went back to Larry's apartment in Dallas, and I said, okay, I hired a nutritionist for you. You're paying for her, but I hired her. And he laughed, and he said, well, what does she look like? And I said, what does she look like? I said, well, she's a Texan. You like that? She's blonde. You like that even better. And he says, does she have big boobs? And I was like, oh my God, what has this got to do with anything? But that was Larry. That was, and I said, I don't know.
Don't know.
The point of this conversation is you are paying for a wonderful woman to come and cook for you. You're eating her food. End of story. So Nancy started cooking for him, and he started eating her food. And then I became Nancy's sous chef. So I was helping her keep this man alive and healthy and on the straight and narrow. And, he did pretty good. And she was wonderful.
He did. That's a beautiful thing to do. And was there a lot of that back and forth off air? Were you guys razzing each other, teasing, having a lot of fun as well? Because, some of the storylines in Dallas were really serious and riveting. But were you having some fun on the set off camera as well?
Always.
Yeah.
And I think the contrast between the humor and the high drama was what made it magic. The sparks were flying, but if you're serious all the time, it's kind of dull, I think. So off camera, there was magic going on with humor, especially Larry and Patrick. They were like my two bad boy brothers. And I would just say, oh my God, what are they doing now?
What are they doing?
Something silly and funny and wonderful and always delicious. Just, just pure, oops, my camera did something. Just pure fun, pure fun. And then when the directors, who were probably going mental with their eyes spinning around like, oh my God, how am I going to direct these children that I'm trying? Instead, when they would say action, we would go right into our characters. The director would feel a lot more relaxed.
Well, speaking of directing, you did have an opportunity to do that, right?
I did.
What was that like for you?
Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful, Jim. Thank you for asking. Yeah, it was Larry and Patrick had directed already. And it wasn't like, well, I'm a star on the show and I want to direct. It wasn't that at all. I really had wanted to direct, but I thought, but I'm not going to just say, oh, it's because I want to and I'm a star on the show or whatever. No, I wanted to study. I wanted to know what I was doing 100%. And so I studied with a female wonderful director. Her name was Lillian Chauvin. And she was wonderful, tough. And she said, I won't let you even go behind that camera unless you know what you're doing. And I said, well, I don't want to go unless I know what I'm doing.
Unless I know what I'm doing, yeah.
Yeah, it's like I have to know 100%. What am I doing? Am I doing it right? Did I set it up right? Did I do all the homework that I wanted to do? And so she said, I'll tell you. And that was really, that was like baptism by fire with that woman. She was tough. And I said, but I don't want to go in front of the camera anyway, or behind the camera unless I know. So it came time for negotiations. It was season 8. And they said, okay, what do you want? And I said, I don't want anything. not meaning money. I said, I don't want that. I want to direct one episode in the next 52. 52. I only wanted one. And they said, no, I don't think so. And I was like, just one?
One, yeah.
No, the answer was no. And they said, well, we'll give you more money, we'll do this, but no, we're not. And they said, and if you want to direct, all the other women will want to direct. And so I said, okay. So I went around to all my friends, all the women, and I said to Barbara Vilgettis and Victoria and Charlene and all the women, and Susan Howard, and I said, would you like to direct? And they said, hell no, we don't want to direct.
No part of that, please, right?
It's like, well, what? You're crazy. Why do you want to do that? So I went back to them and I said, no, nobody wants to direct. So they're kind of stuck. They didn't know what to say then. So then anyway, blah, blah, blah. They asked me again. And at the end of that conversation, they said, well, we're sorry, Miss Gray, but we're going to have to let you go. I was fired. And I was stunned. I was like, wow, that's not, anyway, that's not what I wanted to hear.
Just for asking to direct, right? Yeah.
I didn't anticipate that. Anyway, so at the end of that season, Larry called me and he said, okay, Stu Ellen, I'm going to, I'll see you next season and blah, blah, blah. I said, Larry, I've just been fired. And he was shocked, as I was, of course.
Sure.
And so he thought about it and he called me and we talked about it, what had gone down. And I said, all I asked for was one episode in 52. That's a lot of episodes. And so he said, okay, let me see what I can do. And he loved doing things like this. But he did go in and he said, if she goes, I go.
And I go too.
And so what's CBS going to do? Right. I'm not going to let Larry go.
Right.
So anyway, bless Mr. Hagman. I came back. And I got to direct one. But the funny part of one is that most scenes in Dallas are two people in a restaurant, in a hospital, in an office, in bed, something like that. Usually two people. My script was a costume ball on the island of Martinique. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. And I knew what they were doing. They were trying to bury me. Just we'll give her one, we'll kill her, and she'll be never direct again. So I thought, okay. So I took a deep breath, several deep breaths, and said, okay, I know what they're doing, and let's do it. So on top of that, they said, we want you to go get the sunrise in Malibu, which was substituting for Martinique. And so I went to Malibu with the director of photography at like 5 a.m, and we were drinking coffee. It was very cold, and there was never a sunrise. It just went into the fog. So I never did get a sunrise. And I called them and I said, can we use stock footage? Meaning footage that they already have photographs of. And they said, no, just go every day and you'll probably get a sunset. Well, never did. And so at the very end, at the end of the week, there was no sunrise. And so they used stock footage. And in my episode, if you watch it again, there's two police dogs, live police dogs. There's a gurney, a deaf, a this, a that, whatever. So many things in my script, not two people in a bed or an office or a hospital. So I thought, okay, I get what you're doing, but this is a tough first-time director job, but I did it, and I ended up directing 5 more. So
isn't that incredible?
It's a tough one.
Yeah. Do you have, I know everybody talks about, the who shot JR scenario, but for you personally, were there one or two favorite episodes of Dallas that just are your personal Linda Gray favorites?
Yes. In the original series, I loved all my very drunk scenes. In the alley with the bag lady, I loved that scene because it was just yummy to be acting like that and to do something so out of
Yeah.
your comfort zone.
Challenging yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And just, just going for it and doing something so foreign uh, and so out of the box was wonderful. I just loved those scenes. And there were some wonderful scenes in the sanitarium where Larry had put. That was his favorite scene. He loved putting Sue Ellen in the sanitarium. And I
Yeah.
said, Larry, all the wonderful scenes you've done, and you think that's your favorite? You're sick. I was so mad at him.
He should be in the sanitarium as a result, right?
He made me crazy. But anyway, that was his favorite. And inside of the sanitarium, those were my favorites. Yeah, that one, the drunk scenes, I loved them.
Did you ever think the Who Shot JR scenario and scripts would be such a huge, I mean, people still in pop culture not only reference Dallas, but they reference that particular time period in the series.
It was a surprise for all of us because it was a time, another time when there was a big strike, a long strike, and we had very long waiting period during the summer. But anyway, it was the actual the writers in the writers room, they have a thing called the writers room where all the writers get together and they throw out ideas, and nobody knew how to end that year, that season. They didn't know. And it was like, well, we could do this, we could do that, we could do something else. And then one of the writers said, why don't we just shoot the there's a word maybe I can't use it on television, shoot the bad guy. We'll put it that way. We can just shoot the bad guy. And they went, that's a good idea. And that's how it happened.
Mm.
It was nothing more than how do we end this particular season of Dallas? They didn't know. And that's how they chose to end it. And then when it aired, the whole world went crazy. It's like, oh, who shot him? Oh my gosh, do you think it's Kristen? Do you think it's Sue Ellen? Blah, blah, blah. And they shot every one of us shooting him.
That's what I heard. Yeah.
Everybody. I used a water gun. And that's how silly we were on the show.
And I would imagine like it was loose lips sink ships, right? It was very tightly, nobody really could say or knew or what it would be for a long time. People were trying to dig it out and nobody was able to say anything, right? Which was amazing.
No, because the little trivia is that Sue Ellen went into a recording booth. And in the recording booth, I recorded, not on camera, in a recording booth, Kristen, it was you who shot JR. It was in a recording, so there was nothing on camera.
Nothing on camera.
So when all you wonderful trivia people, it was done in voiceover.
Isn't that incredible? All the super fans are like, that's how it was done. Iconic series, as I mentioned, and you just playing Sue Ellen in that blockbuster TV series, it brought worldwide stardom to you and additional stardom to everybody else, critically acclaimed. And it also earned you nominations for 2 Golden Globe Awards for Best Actress, Emmy Award for Lead Actress in a Drama Series, numerous international awards. And after 11 years as the #1 show on television, again, it had returned to TNT in 2012 and ran for 3 successful seasons as well, which was amazing. And then other sort of iterations of it came along. In addition to that, there was the movies and other things as well, right?
Yes. Yes, and we're still, people are still, coming up to me on the streets and talking about how they sat on their couch in whatever country they were in with their grandma and their mom, and such wonderful memories. And it pleases my heart. I'm serious. It really does.
You also had an opportunity to play in Cinderella, right? That was incredible.
I was the fairy godmother.
You were the fairy godmother, yeah.
To go from Sue Ellen Ewing to the fairy godmother in England during Panto, doing a Panto, which I'd never done before, was delicious, and the nicest people, and I had the best time ever.
Yeah, what an iconic role. And, we dug some stuff out. Palm Springs weekend. And I tell you, Big Hawaii and episodes of Emergency, Marcus Welby, MD. I mean, you just have been working, Switch and Bonanza, McLeod, and of course, Murder in Peyton Place. And also I mentioned in the introduction, that leg you own in The Graduate, Justin Hoffman. That is our very special guest, Linda Gray's leg.
I mean, I never thought. The photographer called me and said, "Can you come to the studio this afternoon? I have a shot for you." And I said, "Fine, I'll come." And the shot was that, putting on the stockings, and I was paid $25.
$25.
$12.50 a leg, and that was the poster that hung in many dormitory rooms.
Oh yeah, sure.
That was way back, many years ago.
Yeah, I mean, so many iconic movies and specials and shows. Of course, Not in Front of the Children, which was another one too. I mean, it's just when you look back at it all, it's like. And Pepper Dennis. And this was more recent too. I mentioned Hilton Head Island, Secrets Run of the Family. This was a Netflix original series as well, right, Linda?
I think so. I mean, I'm shocked that you have all these things.
That I dug all this out. Yeah, huh? Why My Daughter. And you were on The Bold and the Beautiful, episodes of that as well. And The Flight of the Swan and Haywire. It's just extraordinary. People I'm sure it's triggering. Highway Heartbreaker. People are being triggered saying, Lovejoy. I remember that. That's right. She was in that. Even 90210 and McBride with John Larroquette, Melrose Place, Models Inc., Oscar. You are just a prolific performer, Eve of Destruction and just rip-off. I mean, The Entertainers. And do you love comedy as much as the dramatic roles, Linda? Does comedy come naturally for you? Is it something that you truly enjoy, like being, the grass is always greener over the septic tank? I mean, Carol Burnett, Charles Grodin.
I love comedy, but people do not see me, and they do not cast me in those roles. But the new movie with Lifetime, you will see a different side of me, totally. So that's all I'll say. I just want you to watch Lifetime, December 2nd. Here, I am punching my own.
You should, because look at the incredible, look at the cast that you have, the fellow friends. I mean, this is a lot of incredible talent here. We're talking about Lifetime's Ladies of the 80s, A Diva Christmas. And this is really going to be something very, very special in the 5 glamorous 80s soap opera stars reunite to share the spotlight to shoot the final Christmas episode of their long-running soap opera. And the producer, Alex, Travis Burns, and director, Neil, Taylor and Thompson, old college friends, do their best to keep things on the rails. But as the ladies come together, old rivalries resurface that threaten to tear the whole production apart. And with the show nearly canceled before it begins due to the ladies' famous diva behavior, they reluctantly agree to set aside the differences and past secrets to act as if they still love each other. And when old sparks reignite between Alex and Nell, the ladies become eager to play Cupid and conspire to bring the couple together. And along the way, the divas also discover that the love between them all is still very strong. And that, again, that's a really special Christmas movie that's coming up on Lifetime, as Linda just mentioned. What was it like working with everybody on this Christmas special coming up?
Absolutely wonderful.
Yeah.
It's so much fun to see each other. We knew each other, but had not worked with each other. Morgan and I had worked together years ago on Dallas, and but I didn't, other than knowing them and loving them over the years, the opportunity that Lifetime gave us to all work together was just fabulous, and we're thrilled that people will get to see it. So, soon, December 2nd. Yep.
Isn't it amazing? And it was, it's like old friends getting together and just sharing so many incredible stories. And, I got to mention too, because this was a labor of love for you. You penned an absolutely phenomenal memoir. And I love the title because it is so true. The road to happiness is always under construction. What was the inspiration for this extraordinary memoir? And congratulations on it, Linda.
Thank you so much. It was the publishers invited me to write a memoir, and I was like, "Are you kidding me? I don't have time to write a memoir." I was doing the reboot of Dallas, and I hadn't even thought of writing. Maybe a couple of times it kind of came swimming through my mind, but I didn't really think about it with any intensity. And so anyway, I said, "Oh, okay, I'll start writing." And then they gave me a deadline. And I thought, deadline? I'm working on a series. How could I have a deadline for anything? Anyway, the deadline was my 75th birthday. And I thought, oh my God, okay, I better start writing. Anyway, I did. And then the series was canceled. And so Jeffrey Lane, my publicist, whom I adore, he said to me, well, while you're waiting for them to pick up, Dallas, this reboot again, he said, I have an idea. He said, you've been invited to go to England to do Panto and play Fairy Godmother. I thought, oh dear, now I'm writing my memoirs. The show, we don't know whether it's coming back, and I'm going to play Fairy Godmother and write a book and blah, blah, blah. I thought, oh no, this is crazy. Anyway, those are my kind of things. It's like, bring on the crazy. Let's do it. So I did. And during that decision-making process, TNT canceled the reboot. So I had a little bit of downtime, not much, but I was memorizing lines for Cinderella in England. So it's been, always under construction, like the title says. And that's what my life has always been.
Yes.
Okay, hang on tight because there's a bumpy road ahead, and we're going to laugh it all the way to see what's on the other side.
How long did it take to actually write the memoir once you got rolling?
A little over 6 months, back and forth. I would write something, send it to the editor. They would correct some things, send it back to me, back and forth. And I was in London, so I would make my corrections, send it to them, and they'd send things back. It was crazy. But I felt it was kind of like download. I was getting some good download stuff from here. And oh yeah, that popped into my mind. Oh, I can't have to remember that. So it was kind of this thing where, I had to challenge myself, and I loved it because the minute I said, okay, look out, it was happening.
That's so fantastic. And then, like you said, it just really rolled. And I encourage folks to pick up that memoir because it really is something very, very special. She's so open and real about her life in such a absolutely beautiful way. You also, something real quick special here, Wally's will.
Oh, yeah.
Tell us about that.
Well, it's a 20-minute short.
Yeah.
And we filmed it in Malibu in 4 days. And again, it was one of those magical, all the right people, the right place, the right timing, right script. It was one of those yummy moments. I can feel it. I had such a good time. And, 20 minutes short, and you learn about this woman. And you just get her immediately. And anyway, I encourage people to see it because it's just wonderful. 20 minutes, and another delicious moment in my life.
Shorts are wonderful. They really are. You've had and continue to have, as the road is always under construction, so many delicious moments, and you have provided so many delicious moments for us, Linda, in all the wonderful things that you've done and continue to do. Is there anything that you still have that is not necessarily on the bucket list, but the Linda Gray hope list that you would still love to do? I know coming on the Jim Masters show live was something you dreamed of all your life, which has been, you can check that box and you're welcome back anytime.
Thank you, Jim. So sweet.
But is there anything else that would you like to direct more, or there any other travel? What are some things you still would love to continue to do as the road is still under construction?
Always. I do have my bucket list. I checked off one of them this past May, 2023. And I walked the Camino de Santiago in Spain. And
wow.
Walked 100 miles, backpack. It was so beautiful, so special. It was something that my heart was just overflowing. My son passed of leukemia, and so actually I took some of his ashes and put them in my backpack. So he went with me, and it was more beautiful than I can even speak about. So that was extraordinary. Yeah.
That's such an absolutely beautiful and touching thing to do, Linda. And again, that just ties into the fact that this heart and soul that you have, which you wear on your sleeve, you also do so much incredible charitable work that I think people should know about. You've worked with Meals on Wheels, and also United Nations Goodwill Ambassador. What was that like for you? That's such an extraordinary and beautiful role to have, and thank you for doing that.
Well, they invited me to help, and I said, okay, I'll help in whatever way I can. I was invited to be a Goodwill Ambassador to women and children's health issues in the developing countries. So I did not want to go to the developing countries and just say, okay, I'm with the UN and this is what we're going to do for you and all that. No, I wanted them to tell me that how I can go back to the UN and say, this is what they need. I wanted, and I did, sat on their little floors in their huts and talked to the women and said, what can we do to help you? What do you want? How can we help you and your families? Well, forget it. My life changed immediately. And they were so amazing human beings. I remember going to one little village in Malawi, the poorest country in the world, I think. And I watched the children playing, and not just the little ones, but the young teenagers, and they were making musical instruments out of the top of a Coca-Cola bottle, and they would make a hole in the middle and string them, and they were in their percussion. And I thought, oh my God, they don't have anything, and they're creative, and they're making beautiful music and sound that they've just created out of a top of a Coca-Cola bottle. It was, amazing. I stood there in awe, watching my life change right there. I'm watching the joy. That's what threw me, is that they weren't saying, oh, bah humbug, we don't have this and we don't have that, and what happened to our new iPhone and our new this or that. No, they were joyful. They had each other, they had family, they had a community, they had their village. And I honestly, I mean, I was just in awe. When I'd go back to my room at night, I'd just sit there and journal about what is it that separates them from us. And, you know, it was quite revealing what it was. They were happy.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Just to have food and water and shelter and family. And sometimes we get so hung up on the this, that, and the other, got to get the latest and greatest, and we forget about some of the real basics of life. And I know you're very in touch and in tune with that, because you're very inspiring on many levels. And have you ever thought of doing talks, public speaking, motivational talks? Because you do have a way about you that is very, very inspiring, Linda.
Thank you. That's very kind. It's just, you know, I'm just telling my story as I experienced it and the way I feel about humanity. And, you know, I do speak in public a little bit, but, you know, when my son passed and COVID was going on, it was just kind of a time to take a breath and how to figure out what the next chapter will be. And I haven't figured that out yet.
The road is still under construction, and you really are an extraordinary person. I know a lot of our viewers have been commenting throughout, and they have been saying that you're full of positivity, and they love seeing you here. And you're a levity now. You're a Jim Master Show levity, which is love and levity put together, which I think is absolutely extraordinary. And this is, I've been really looking forward to this, and I know it's a very busy time for you. So for you to take the time and share a little bit more, you know, we have conversations here, not just an interview, because I really think people now have an even deeper understanding and appreciation of you, not only the extraordinary talent that you are, but the person beneath the talent, the person beneath all these phenomenal roles and all this entertainment you've provided us and still do all these years, Linda. This has been really extraordinary. You are welcome back anytime. As we say, we'll keep the porch light on for you. And I hope that you enjoyed the time with me as much as I absolutely have with you, Linda.
I feel the same. And I'm just, honestly, I'm just so blessed to be here. You know, you're lovely. You're beyond. You listen, and that's one of the things that I find missing in a lot of people today. They don't listen, and I thank you so much for that. And your questions were wonderful, and thank you so much.
You are very, very welcome. And there's her website to check out, the website, and see more about her as well. And I'll tell you more again about the incredible Lifetime movie that's coming up. Linda, all the blessings, continued love and joy coming your way, and we'll chat again soon. You're welcome back anytime, my friend.
Thank you, Jim. It was lovely being here with you. Thank you.
You as well. And now you're a levity. We love that.
That was beautiful. I love it.
Happy holidays to you and yours. Love you, and we will see you again soon, my friend.
Thank you, and happy holidays to you. Bye. Bye, Jim. Thank you. Bye, everybody.
You're welcome. The incomparable Linda Gray here on the Jim Masters Show Live series. Was this not extraordinary? I do want to show you again this fantastic movie that's coming up on Lifetime. Yeah, you're going to want to check this out. Look at the talent that's on the screen here that's appearing in this extraordinary movie. It is Ladies of the 80s, A Diva's Christmas. Donna Mills is there, and Morgan Fairchild, of course, Linda Gray, and Lonnie Anderson, and Nicolette Sheridan. They're all coming together. You know it's going to be fun. It's going to be laughter and lots of love. And I encourage you to check that out. It's happening on Lifetime. And I know many of you love Lifetime. You love Lifetime. You love Hallmark. You love all those channels. This is Saturday, December 2nd, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central on Lifetime. Check that out. What a wonderful person, huh? I know a lot of you have been so excited about seeing Linda on our show, and we'll have her back. You know, she's always working on wonderful projects. She shared so much about behind the scenes, of course, of Dallas, but we also wanted to share with you some of the other amazing things that she's done in her life and continues to do. So many other shows and movies and her charitable work. She's a humanitarian and so much more. And we thank you for sharing the time with us too. I want to take a look at some of our viewer comments. I know so many of you have been commenting throughout the show. Sherry Larson is in Kansas. She says, thank you for being here tonight, Linda. What a beautiful person you are. Come back to see us. She absolutely will. And that's Sherry in Kansas. Merlin watching in Ontario, Canada, here on the Jim Masters Show says, thanks, Linda. It's been a real pleasure meeting you. This is really fantastic. And Nikki and Kim are here as well. Wow. We're positive that you get this all the time, but you truly are such an inspiration, Linda, particularly your drive and your attitude. Isn't that wonderful? These are all comments that are coming in. Merlin said that she's a lovety. She is a Jim Master Show lovety, which is love and levity put together. And Cheyenne Smith says, I remember Linda when she was on the Johnny Carson show. And she said that she had on dark hosiery that day because she had black and blue mark on her leg from whitewater rafting. She's a go-getter, huh? From whitewater rafting. An appearance on the Johnny Carson show as well. This is really fantastic. We just have so many comments coming in here left and right. Thank you very much, gang, for all of this. This is really, really beautiful stuff that's happening here. And take a look at some more of this. Thank you, Jim, for asking about the development of Sue Ellen. This is Harry Parrish. She came from the background and owned the series outside of Larry. She owned the series, and she really, really did. And everything that she's done and continues to do, she makes it her own, and she gives her all, and she absolutely loves what she does. And yeah, you guys are fantastic. And Harry also adds in, just wonderful that the actors from Dallas, especially Linda, make time for the fans. Wonderful evening of Palm Springs with Linda and the cast last year as well. Everyone, of course, remembers the JR scenario, and you guys are terrific. Just want to take a look at a few more. You were all welcoming her to the show, which I think was fantastic. And you guys do that for all of our phenomenal guests. And I say thank you. Merlin says, welcome, Linda, to Lovety Hall. You are now a Lovety. And that is so nice. This is Jason sending love and greetings from Wisconsin to Linda Gray. And of course, you remember when she was in Buck Rogers in the late 1970s. Yes. He said, Fond du Lac, Wisconsin remembers when she was in Buck Rogers. We just, picked some random things that we were showing you, series and specials and movies and films and stage performances that Linda Gray's been in. When you look back at her body of work, a celebrated actress, she's really absolutely iconic, but also warm and affable and so approachable. And it was really something special to have her on the show. And we thank her so very, very much for all the time and the attention as well. And again, if you enjoyed this episode, folks, definitely you can watch it again. It'll be on our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. Here's some more wonderful photos that we dug up as well. They sort of sprinkled some of this in. There she is having a laugh with Larry Hagman. We wanted to give you a full experience here as we have a wonderful conversation. And she's joining us, celebrating the Lifetime movie that's coming out. But when you really do look at her body of work, it's extraordinary. And that's such a great typical photo of her, you know what I mean? With her smile and her approachability. And I think that's one of the reasons why so many people admire, not just love, but admire and respect her for her work, for her tenacity, for her, can-do spirit. Like I said, she's very inspirational and very empowering, and she has a story to tell And if you didn't get a chance to get her book, there it is. We talked about it. And now when you do get the book, you know a little bit about behind the scenes of what it took to write it and what the writing process was like. Of course, don't forget, that's on Amazon too. You can get it at Amazon. There's her website. Check that out to learn more about the extraordinary career of Linda Gray. And again, here is the special that's coming on Lifetime in just a matter of weeks. Ladies of the 80s, a Divas Christmas. And yeah, this was really, really something special. If you enjoyed this episode of our series, all the phenomenal guests that have been on our show and that are coming on our show, I just want to let you know something quite special. And this is a little bit of a teaser for all of you watching from around the world with our international audience. The iconic Sharon Gless is going to be joining us in December. We're so excited about that. Iconic actor Stuart Pankin is joining us as well. And he'll be here on Monday. Tomorrow, my dear friend, the incomparable Celtic violinist from Celtic Woman, Mairead Nesbitt. This will be their third time she's been on our show. She's going to be here. We're actually going to be on stage together in December at Carnegie Hall for a very special Christmas celebration with Tim Janis and our friends, noted composer Tim Janis, and so many celebrities and stars are going to be there at Carnegie Hall. And I'm the host and master of ceremonies and absolutely love it. We talked about Dallas, of course. How can you not talk about Dallas? And wasn't it wonderful to hear her stories about how everybody came together and gelled, and the humor that was on the set, because, you know, they did get into some heavy topics from time to time. Of course, riveting television, iconic actors and actresses made it possible. And Linda Gray, of course, doing her thing as she does so beautifully. Thank you. So, isn't that a great shot of her? We thank everybody for being with us here on the show. If you enjoyed this episode, definitely give it a like on our YouTube channel. That's where this episode is saved. Give it a like, share this episode on your social media, leave a comment for us, engage. What of the incredible shows and specials and series that Linda Gray has been a part of is your favorite? Is it Dallas? Is it something else? All that glitters? What are the movies, stage performances? Subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. And we thank you so very, very much for all the time and the attention, all the comments coming in here, and all of the levity. Thank you, Jim. A fantastic show as always. Thank you so very much. Thank you very much. Great show as always. And thank you for being here. Linda, what a beautiful person you are. Come back to see us. Oh, absolutely. The door is always open for her and always open for all of you. Thank you for the comments. Thanks for all this levity coming in from around the world. Kathleen Walker, we got to acknowledge her. She did this really beautiful super chat here in the favorite green. You know, I love my Irish green. Linda, thanks so much for sharing your life with us. This is such a fun conversation. You are a beautiful person, loved by so many. And thank you. That's Kathleen Walker in support of our series here, the Jim Master Show Life series. And that was so beautiful. If you enjoyed this, like, comment, subscribe, share, tell everybody you know about our show and all these great folks that come in from Hollywood and television, Broadway, stage, film, culinary arts, sports, comedy, all around the world. Celebrity friends and so much more. Stop by the Jim Master Show Life series, where we don't just do interviews, we have real conversations. We love you all. Don't forget to take care of one another, be good to one another, and be good to yourself. Thanks for joining us on this episode of the Jim Master Show Live. Take care, be well, and cheers.